thing is, I'm passionate about farming. I love me farming, and you know, I love it because you do it, you know. And if you're going to sit there with your thumb up your bum all day, letting the combine steer itself, because you know it's only a matter of time till they work out how to turn it round on the headland, you know. Like I've worked out with this drill, if you back round like that, you can get bang on your mark. You know, if you try driving round, you sometimes don't make it, and you end up doing a shunt. Your machine can learn that, could it? I suppose you could teach the machine that, but why? Just do it yourself. I think people who do this job and expect to make thousands of pounds out of it and do it for the sake of earning money, you know, you get all these farmers that get contractors to come in and subcontract all their work, and they put a acreage charge on. It's like £120 an acre to do everything from start to finish. You know, unless they're elderly and they've got no heirs or people to follow them up like children and stuff, why don't you just sell up and get out of it? Because you obviously you don't care about what you're doing, because you're letting some big outfit factory farm your farm. And I think it's not good for the general public neither, because it takes the choice out of things. You know, you've got somebody who's got 8,000 acres under their belt, and all they grow is the same thing all over that 8,000 acres, whether it's their farm or somebody else's farm. You know, they grow one or two varieties. If you had, I don't know, 6 or 7 families farming that 8,000 acres, you know, they would put different things in. They wouldn't copy each other. There would be different varieties of wheat. There would be different varieties of everything. You know, some people do beans, some people do peas. You know, and it gives variety and choice. By doing what they're doing, it's just factory farming. And if you can't be bothered to farm it, and you want to work like a factory, well, buy yourself a factory and go into production of something else. Why? There's a lot of young people in this country that could be farmers if they could get a foothold and a start, but they can't, because now, when people are done with their farm, they just get the likes of Mr. Barnes to farm it for them. I love farming my ground. I enjoy it, to be honest with you. If I didn't enjoy it, I'd give it back to the council for somebody else to do, because I don't make a massive amount of money out of it. It's just a lifestyle. I would rather do this than sit in them traffic jams on the M25 trying to get into London. Or I've seen people come back 8 o'clock at night, getting off the train after commuting down to London and doing a day's work, and then commuting back to Sandy. You know, I've come through there after ploughing or, you know, combining in the summer, and they're all walking up there in their suits and that, with their trainers on for the comfort, like, to walk in after they've took their shoes off. And they do that 5 days a week, 6 days a week to make money. They live in a house in a town, they have a reasonable car or a nice car, a couple of holidays a year, and they do that all year to earn a few extra pounds. I don't understand why. Why not get a local job, but then you sit in the traffic jams for 2 hours? I think we're very lucky farmers. I think it's a very, very, very least pressurised industry that there is, in my view. You know, you've got the likes of Brussels telling you what you can grow, what sprays you can use and everything. Well, I still think a good old burn up would be good. There you go. Government and NFU and the likes of the NFU don't listen to the likes of me. I went to the cereals thing this year for the first time. That was brilliant. I like that. That was pretty good. I'm going to go next year. you get to see new techniques and things going on there. But one of the things I really found interesting, you looked at the tents on the site, and there's different size tents. Do you know who had the biggest tents? The banks and the NFU, National Farmers Union. They had the biggest tents of all, and it made me smile because the Farmers Weekly stand was the other side of the walkway to the NFU tent. Massive great thing, tablecloths, all that lot, you know, for all the big farmers. Now the NFU at the time were not back in Brexit. They were against coming out of Europe. Right? And right opposite their door was 2 Perspex tubes. One for coming out of Europe, one for staying in, and one for not decided. The one for coming out had twice as much in it as the one for staying in, and the not decided had 6 inches in the bottom. I was there in the morning. I don't know what it looked like in the afternoon. I went back past there later, and there's 3 times as much in coming out of Europe during the Brexit. Right opposite NFU's door, and they turned round and said, our farmers, our people want to stay in. Duh. No, we don't. Everybody's putting their counter in the one to come out, and you're saying we're staying in. Now we've actually voted to come out. Now you want us to come to seminars that you're arranging and pay you some money to come to the seminars, so you can talk to us and give us talks on where we're going to go after Brexit. So you thought that we weren't going to come out, so you voted for staying in, and now we have come out, you're trying to fill your pockets off it. It really makes me smile, it really does. I'm a NFU member, yeah, I'm a member of the NFU, but I think it's more so you can just watch what they do. You know, you get a nice glossy magazine now and again, but apart from that, there's no representation there. To be honest with you, I think that's half the problem with Europe, because we've got no teeth, because the NFU will not stand up and be counted and fight for the British farmer. I think that's why the Europe, part of the Europe where the farmer's concerned, failed. Because we couldn't get what we needed from Europe. You know, we got banned from putting our meat into Europe in the BSE scares and everything. Got a mouth and all that. The French called it JCB disease, because when they got a cow with that was positive for the disease, they shot it in the head, got the JCB out and buried it. If we got one that was positive, they came in mob-handed, shot the whole herd, put it in a hole and buried it. Burned it, buried it. You tell me how that's right. One rule for one and one for another. We're better off out. We was better off before we went in, so I really do think if any NFU members and that are listening to this, or anybody with any clout in the NFU, they ought to look at this proportional burn. I feel if you put proportional burn in place, black grass will be a thing of the past. Slug pellets, a thing of the past. Well, not completely, but you listen to the old fellas when they're talking. They used half as much sprays and chemicals and pesticides when they burn as they do now. Lesser of the two evils, that's what it is. And my old boy, he's up here now with the ringy rolls. We've got a 6 metre pair of folding 12 metre ring rolls. I must admit I bought them a few years ago. Got them off of Brock's. and they've been a good set of ring rolls, to be honest. That was a good few years ago, but that's about 5, 6 years ago. Just grease the bearings and use them. I must admit it's good having a big grain barn now, because you can shove a lot of your machines in there out of weather. I wouldn't mind a nice cart. I will put all things like them ring rolls under, power arrows, plows, because it ain't just the weather that gets in them, and the wind and the rain and the rust. The sun fades all your paint. The machine will last twice as long if you keep it in the shed. Let's face it, the cost of them, a lack of money in the job. You've got to get the best out of everything. I better go and check these pipes in a minute, just make sure they're all okay, because she's bouncing about like a little football back there. Coming up to 2/3 done this 40 acres. We're getting a bit better going. I reckon I can push her on a bit more throttle. Knock her, no, I won't knock her up another foot. Oh, she doesn't seem to. No, they're jumping about like lunatics back there. It's getting better. Trying to think of a few more comments I saw on my latest ramblings. I'm going to have to go and see my mum soon. I haven't seen her for a while, my old mum. She's a grand lass, she is. She's got herself a cafe on the A1 with Grizzlies. I think I mentioned it in the past. But I haven't seen her for a while. She's 86 years old and she still does 4 days a week in that cafe. I think she's getting a bit bored of it now though. She's done it for 16 years, so I think it's time them old girls started to step up. I've got a sister, Mary, and she's a bit older than me. She's about 56, she works there. And I've got my little sister who's about 40, I think she's about 45, something like that. She's going to end up a spinster if she ain't careful. She writes a nice young man. There you go, one of you young pups. She don't mind younger boys neither. So, she's got about 25 acres there. Nice big house in the countryside. Buildings are a bit rough, I must admit. They are a bit poorly old buildings they've got there, but she's got heart of gold, my sister, but there's a nice stepping stone to get started there. Right, I'm going to pop back and just check all my tubes are still giving 4th seed corn. I'll just give you a little show around the back of the drill here. This is the 8-metre weaving drill. It's quite wide. The rushing of air you can hear is the fan that blows the corn down the tubes. The 2 discs on the end are the out markers for marking your next run. They're hydraulic, they go out when I put the drill down. These 2 discs here are your pre-emerge markers. As you can see, the ground is a little bit cloddy up here, but it's a lot better than down the bottom. You can see the odd bit of corn on top, but when the ring rolls have rolled it, that will be pushed in hopefully. But this is a 38.5 acre field. old tractor needs a bit of a wash. That was dusty up there on the grass. As you can see, when she's unfolded, the drill's 8 metres wide. You see it dwarfs the Duals now she's opened up. So yeah, very good drill. I'm really pleased with it. A lot of people, you know, don't like tine drill, but you can use a tine drill anywhere. You can use it in wet conditions, dry conditions. I found with the horse drill I had, if it got wet, it'd bulldoze with them tyres like a bulldozer blade on the back. The conditions had to be about right for that horse. Yeah, but the tilth here isn't too bad. It's a nice deep bit of tilth, and it's been ploughed underneath, so the drainage is there as well. That's my old boy over there, a set of ring rolls, 6 metre close horizontal mounted ring rolls, and George's old 3230, he's flattening it all down. Right, I'm gonna get back in the cab, it's bloody cold out here. Alright.